Welcome to the Infidelity Files. I never imagined that a simple massage could turn my world upside down. As I stepped into the serene spa, the soft lighting and soothing scent of eucalyptus instantly calmed my frazzled nerves. Exhausted, both mentally and physically, I yearned for a much-needed escape. The receptionist, with a knowing smile, whispered, "You'll want to book with Brian. He has a special touch." Intrigued by her hushed tone, I scheduled an appointment, eager to experience this unique massage. When I met Brian, I was immediately struck by his tall, confident stature and warm, inviting eyes. There was something about his gaze, a lingering intensity that sparked a flutter in my chest, a sensation I hadn't felt in a long time. As he led me to the tranquil massage room, the gentle sounds of water and soothing music filled the air. "Take your time, make yourself comfortable," he murmured softly, stepping out to give me privacy. As I lay down on the massage table, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was no ordinary massage. With each expert stroke, Brian's hands worked magic, melting away the tension that had plagued my shoulders for weeks. His touch was deliberate, skilled, and surprisingly intimate. I hadn't expected to feel anything beyond relaxation, but a strange sense of anticipation grew within me. With each gentle press, I felt the weight of stress lifting from my body. His hands moved with a rhythm, a dance that seemed to soothe my soul. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the moment, letting go of the worries that had been clouding my mind. As the tension eased, a new warmth spread through me, a warmth that seemed to emanate from his touch. I found myself tuning in to every subtle movement, every press and glide, as if each one carried a secret message. His focus shifted to my shoulders, and with each stroke, I felt a deeper connection, a bond forming between us. His hands moved slowly, almost lingering, sending a shiver down my spine. I found myself hyper-aware of his touch, each brush of his fingertips drawing me deeper into a state of heightened awareness. His movements were deliberate, as if he knew exactly what he was doing, and a strange, unfamiliar feeling stirred within me. The silence in the room amplified every sensation, the soft background music blending with the rhythm of my heartbeat. My mind wandered, curious about the man behind the skilled hands. His presence filled the room, and I couldn't recall the last time someone's touch had felt so captivating, so intentional. A subtle energy pulsed between us, quickening my pulse despite my best efforts. This wasn't the typical relaxation I expected from a massage. Instead, a comforting warmth spread beneath my skin, a quiet connection that neither of us acknowledged, yet both seemed to sense. Brian's hands continued their journey, now tracing the curve of my lower back. Each touch seemed to dissolve the last bits of tension, leaving me feeling lighter, freer. I breathed deeply, focusing on the feel of his hands, letting myself sink into the moment. The stress and fatigue of the week melted away, replaced by a strange anticipation I couldn't quite name. As his hands paused, his fingers still resting against my back, I felt a shift in the room, an unspoken understanding forming between us, lingering in the silence. I didn't know what it meant or why I was drawn to it, but I couldn't deny the thrill that filled me. As Brian resumed his work, I let out a soft sigh, feeling the last remnants of stress fading away. I hadn't expected this level of relaxation, and in a moment of contentment, a playful thought slipped out. "I have to say, you certainly live up to the hype," I murmured, my voice softened by the calm of the room. Brian's laugh was warm and quiet, settling into the cozy atmosphere. "Glad to know my reputation precedes me," he replied, his voice laced with a hint of mischief. "I always aim to leave a lasting impression." I found myself smiling, surprised by how easy it was to chat with him as if we'd known each other for years. There was a casual charm in his tone, a relaxed confidence that invited me to match his energy. I realized my guard was down, a rarity for me, and the openness was surprisingly refreshing. "Well," I said lightly, "you've got quite the touch, I'll give you that." "Only quite," he teased, his hands pressing gently against my back. "I thought I was doing better than that," I chuckled, a soft warmth building in my chest. "Don't push it," she replied, enjoying the banter that flowed so naturally between them. The room filled with a comfortable silence. Brian's hands paused, breaking the tranquil silence. "You must know," he said, his voice gentle, almost playful. "Most clients aren't quite this relaxed. You seem different." I raised an eyebrow, amused. "Different, huh? Should I be flattered?" "Oh, definitely," he replied smoothly. There was something charmingly bold in his tone, as if he knew exactly how to toe the line between professional and flirtatious. I found myself responding in kind, my words flowing naturally without a second thought. "Well, I'll take that as a compliment," I said, a playful smile tugging at my lips. "Although I bet you say that to all your clients." Brian paused, leaning in ever so slightly. "Only to the ones who deserve it," he murmured, his tone soft but unmistakably warm. A thrill shot through me as our eyes met, a spark igniting in the air, filling the room with unspoken possibilities. I looked away, smiling to myself, my cheeks warming under his gaze. This wasn't the usual conversation I had during a massage, but I couldn't ignore the easy, teasing rhythm that had taken over. We continued to exchange playful banter, each remark building on the last, carrying an underlying energy that neither of us seemed eager to address. A subtle tension hung in the air, a silent promise lingering in every compliment, every shared glance. The teasing grew bolder, each word layered with a hint of suggestion. We were speaking in riddles, dancing around the edges of something unnamed, yet the silence between our words seemed to say everything. Suddenly Brian paused, a thoughtful look crossing his face. "You know," he said casually, "for some deeper muscle tension, I might need to use a special tool." My curiosity piqued. "A special tool? What exactly do you mean by that?" I asked, a hint of amusement in my voice. Brian smiled, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "Just a little something to help me get into those stubborn spots. Trust me, you'll love it." Before I could respond, he stepped away for a moment and returned holding a sleek, powerful massage wand. My eyebrows shot up in surprise. The tool looked impressive, its glossy finish reflecting the soft light of the room. I couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and anticipation. "I didn't realize we were taking this to the next level," I joked, trying to keep the mood light, even as a flutter of nervous energy danced in my stomach. "Oh, it's definitely the next level," he replied, a knowing smile playing on his lips. Brian winked, a playful grin spreading across his face. He turned on the massage wand, its gentle hum filling the room. As he placed it against my back, a wave of warmth washed over my muscles, a sensation unlike anything I'd ever experienced. He moved the wand expertly, gliding it over my shoulders and down my lower back. The tool seemed to work magic, delivering deep vibrations that reached into my tense muscles. "Wow, that feels incredible," I breathed, genuinely impressed. I'd come to the spa expecting a nice massage, but this was something entirely different. Brian nodded, his focus unwavering. "It's all about finding the right pressure," he replied, his voice steady and calm. "And this tool helps me get into the deeper layers. You're going to feel amazing." He continued to move the wand along my back and then shifted it down to my legs. Each stroke was intentional, skilled. I couldn't help but shiver with pleasure as the wand vibrated against my muscles, releasing knots I didn't even know were there. It was as if Brian had a sixth sense for finding every tight spot in my body, and with each motion I felt more and more at ease. The room was filled with the sound of the massage wand's gentle hum, mixed with the soft background music. The atmosphere had shifted slightly, taking on a more intimate tone. I found myself drawn deeper into the experience. There was something undeniably thrilling about the tool's presence, a subtle tension that both excited and relaxed me. I can't believe I've been missing out on this, I admitted, letting myself sink further into the table. You should definitely market this technique, Brian chuckled, his eyes sparkling with amusement. Just one of the perks of the job, he replied. He continued to guide the wand with deft precision, moving it to all the right places, ensuring I was enveloped in blissful sensations. As the massage progressed, I found myself drifting in and out of awareness. The combination of his movements and the wand's skill created a serene cocoon that isolated me from the outside world. Time seemed to stand still, and in that moment, all that mattered was the soothing rhythm of his hands and the warm vibrations of the tool as it worked its magic. As Brian continued to maneuver the wand with expert precision, I could feel the tension within me slowly melting away. The deeper strokes had worked wonders, but now there was a subtle shift in the air. His movements began to slow, almost deliberately. His touch lingered, each brush of his hands igniting a warmth that spread through my entire body. My heart pounded, an electric thrill coursing through me. The atmosphere in the room had shifted, morphing from professional to intimate. I was caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Was it right to feel this way? I'd come to unwind, but now the lines were blurring, and the thrill of crossing those boundaries was undeniable. As Brian worked closer, his touch transformed. His hands glided over my skin, tender and personal, far beyond a simple massage. Each contact sent ripples of sensation through me, igniting a fire I hadn't anticipated. The wand continued its steady hum, but it was the warmth of his hands that captivated my attention. Our eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, the world around us vanished. His gaze was intense, a mixture of desire and respect, as if he were silently asking for permission to explore this uncharted territory together. The air crackled with unspoken tension. I nodded slightly, a small gesture carrying immense weight. In that instant, the barrier between client and something more dissipated. We took our first step into the unknown. Brian's hands moved closer, brushing against my skin in a way that was both electrifying and nerve-wracking. I shivered under his touch, every nerve ending alight with anticipation. The boundaries had shifted. We were no longer simply practitioner and client, but two people drawn together by an undeniable chemistry. With newfound boldness, Brian leaned in, his breath warm against my ear. "Just relax," he whispered, his voice low and inviting. My heart raced at the intimacy of the moment. The gentle brush of his fingers along my shoulders ignited a yearning buried beneath layers of everyday life. As he continued to work, his hands began to explore further, moving with an ease that was both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. Each stroke was a promise, drawing me closer. I surrendered to the sensations, the pretense and boundaries fading away. We were venturing into something forbidden yet intoxicating. Time seemed to blur as the intimacy deepened. His touch ignited a fire within me, a primal desire that had been dormant for far too long. As his hands moved across my skin, a wave of heat washed over me, and I surrendered to the sensation. This was no longer a simple massage. It was a forbidden dance, a secret exploration of our desires. The world outside faded into insignificance as we ventured deeper into this intimate encounter. Every touch, every glance was electric, charged with anticipation. The boundary between client and masseuse had dissolved, replaced by a raw, undeniable attraction. Brian's touch was both gentle and commanding, a paradox that sent shivers down my spine. His hands glided across my body, igniting a fire that consumed me. I arched into his touch, my body responding instinctively to his every move. The hum of the massage wand faded into the background, replaced by the primal rhythm of our connection. As he leaned in, his breath warm against my ear, I felt a surge of exhilaration and a touch of fear. This was uncharted territory, a dangerous game we were playing, but the thrill of the forbidden was intoxicating, and I found myself drawn deeper into the abyss. "You're so beautiful," he whispered, his voice a low rumble that sent shivers down my spine. His words were a balm to my soul, igniting a spark within me. The intimacy between us grew with each passing moment, each touch a silent promise of more. I lost myself in the sensation, my body responding with soft moans and gasps. Brian's hands explored every inch of my skin, arousing a desire I hadn't known existed. We were caught in a whirlwind of passion, a secret world of our own creation. As Brian's hands roamed lower, a surge of desire coursed through me. The unspoken promise in his touch ignited a fire within me, a hunger for a deeper connection. I surrendered to the moment, letting go of inhibitions and embracing the intensity of the experience. Every touch was a silent vow, binding us together in this whirlwind of passion. Lost in the enchantment of the moment, I forgot about the outside world, the stress, the expectations. It was just us, navigating this uncharted territory with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. With each caress, Brian coaxed me deeper into a realm of sensation that was both exhilarating and forbidden. Our breaths mingled in the air, creating a rhythm that matched the intensity of our connection. Captivated by his ability to read my body, I responded instinctively to his every move. An undeniable pull drew me closer, leaving me breathless and yearning for more. The thrill of our secret connection heightened the intimacy, creating a bubble of pure desire. As the intensity began to subside, a sense of peace washed over me. We lay there, wrapped in the afterglow of our passionate encounter. The air was thick with warmth and intimacy, a cocoon that shielded us from the outside world. I glanced at Brian, and he met my gaze with a soft smile that spoke volumes. "I didn't expect this," I admitted, my voice barely a whisper. The vulnerability in my words hung in the air, adding to the intimacy of the moment. "Neither did I," he replied softly, his tone laced with sincerity. The simplicity of the exchange felt profound, as if we were sharing a secret that only we understood. The room, once filled with tension, now resonated with a calm that felt safe and inviting. I took a deep breath, relishing the tranquility that followed our passionate encounter. The gentle hum of the massage wand lay nearby, a reminder of how everything had begun. A strange sense of peace washed over me, as if the chaos of the outside world had momentarily paused to allow us this fleeting moment of connection. As Brian's fingers traced light patterns across my skin, my heart fluttered. There was something enchanting about the way he looked at me, his warm eyes filled with admiration and intrigue. I couldn't help but return his gaze, captivated by the depth of emotion reflected in his expression. In that moment, it felt as if we were the only two people in existence, bound together by an invisible thread. "What happens now?" I asked, curiosity mingling with a hint of uncertainty. The question hung in the air, a fragile balance between excitement and apprehension. Brian paused, his fingers lingering on my skin. This place, designed for relaxation and escape, had transformed into a backdrop for an unexpected romance. With one last glance at Brian, I felt a rush of emotions. He stood there, relaxed yet attentive, his expression a mix of admiration and something more profound. For a brief moment, the world outside faded, and it was just the two of us, suspended in time. There was something intoxicating about our farewell, as if we were both caught in a moment that transcended words. "Will I see you again?" I asked, the question slipping out before I could second-guess myself. Brian paused, his smile faltering slightly as he considered my words. "I hope so," he finally said, his voice laced with sincerity. The uncertainty hung in the air, creating a delicate tension that neither of us wanted to break. We were two souls who had connected deeply, if only for a fleeting moment, and the thought of parting felt heavy, yet inevitable. With a final lingering smile, I turned toward the door, my heart pounding in my chest. Each step away from Brian felt like a bittersweet farewell, yet I carried a piece of him with me, a spark of exhilaration that would remain long after I stepped outside. As I reached the door, I glanced back one last time, catching Brian's eyes as he watched me leave. In that moment, everything felt right and thrilling. The mystery of our encounter lingered like a soft whisper in the air. The connection we had forged was both exhilarating and poignant, leaving me with a sense of possibility that made my heart race. Stepping out into the sunlight, I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of liberation and uncertainty. I knew our paths might never cross again, but I also understood that the memories we created together would stay etched in my heart. With every step, I felt the weight of our experience, a quiet promise of what could be, leaving me with a feeling of hope and excitement as I ventured into the world beyond the spa. As the story comes to a close, remember that the thrill of unexpected connections is just a click away. If you enjoyed this journey and want to hear more captivating tales, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. Your support keeps the adventure alive. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next episode.